Okay,
It's a small one, but it is.
all right, and then,
It's actually interesting.
oh, there it goes, okay, yay,
But I also-
okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, I hope so. Thank you, bye-bye. Okay, thank you, bye-bye. You're welcome. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Where is?
Should we button along the top? Underneath. It looks like.
Mute this one?
No, he is.
No,
Oh, are you trying to mute?
yeah, is it this one?
Yeah. No, still there.
Is it the one on the right, down on the bottom?
It's
It's probably mute button down there.
Teams. My mic is too close. to
It's Zoom.
No. This one right here.
Oh, that actually does.
Oh, it is muted.
Yeah. It's already shut off.
The meeting's a little.
You're gonna do your presentation.
Just a little bit of what I know.
Yeah.
Do you want one?
You guys have the meeting self-explained last night.
Well, it was also.
Main as in their James.
You want to?
Is it still?
I didn't expect anything. I was.
It's their minor league
I don't
squad playing.
Does anybody know?
Right, it's the Knicks.
I don't know what to do.
Her husband and their best friend couple are gonna try to go to a playoff.
Does anybody know how to turn this off?
Celtics fans.
So what do you talk about in the next game, Jalen Brown will play?
I don't know how to get rid of this echo.
Kind of leaning towards the left. You get.
There should be somebody here. That's.
Back to this. Oh, you can't.
Is it this? Is it still echoing? Yeah, I shut that off.
How do we get that view too? See, but the picture in the corner is just Joyce.
Up on here, it has all of us.
Okay.
This is on. Oh, this one? Yes, it's shut off.
What's this remind you of? Too many cooks. I'm moving your phone to the cooks who can't boil.
My phone's not even on.
Is this a speaker on?
Yeah, the speaker's on.
Yeah, the speaker's on.
Just about, no, that's a little bit.
And.
And.
I can see if it still happens, because that'll minimize the app, so the mic's extra kind of.
Different how to do it. I don't know what's there.
Does that work?
Yeah. My ADD was screaming.
She's at the slideshow at the top, Joyce.
Sorry. Yeah. Do it along the base. Hey, my free allegiance, eliminate all debt. Let me figure, take them. This is a touch screen. Do it all, just mine again. Yeah. But mine first.
Robert.
Joyce, just click that.
I'm on.
We're not presenting, we're just.
Right, exactly.
Got it.
Which one?
Yeah. You said from beginning,
Oh, I just.
from beginning,
Upper left corner.
over the left from beginning. There you go.
I'm missing the. I think he works at the back.
And now what I'll do is if you can.
Yeah.
See next line.
Yeah.
See these arrows?
Yeah. Get you one down.
All right. Appears that the electrical universe is finally figured out. Call the meeting to order at 7:06. Please rise for the pledge. The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Is anyone on the call with John?
No, I have to go back to that screen.
Just, it looks like just now.
I already promoted him to. Josh mentioned he might, but he might not.
From here. Yeah.
Have you seen Kelly last night?
No. No.
Gave him the night off.
I'm a bomber, I'm myself.
They have a big,
No friends, Mary.
could have invited them.
All right.
She's on top of it. Oh, right.
Yeah, there's no.
Josh is on this.
Oh, that's good. That's actually, you can see.
There's nobody else there.
Thank you.
Josh there?
No, no.
Okay. Then there's nobody in the room, so, move on to public comment. Article 29, construction services for Lexington Road, Glad Valley intersection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Fred Russell, Director of Public Works. Article 29, not sure if the board was, as recalls, but, we actually have another tip project. So we're gonna finish the one in front of Town Hall. Once that's done, we're gonna start another one. That basically runs from Tower Pond Road down to Lock Road. And essentially, it's sidewalk improvement program. We're gonna, granite curbing, concrete sidewalks, and the reconfiguration of the intersection at Lexington and Glad Valley. Chris, if you could flip past 42 slides.
2 slides.
Next, yeah, there you go. So that's what the new intersection, this is that funky intersection we have at Lexington and Glad Valley. Right now, that's a lot of accidents and essentially making it 2 intersections. It's gonna be signalized as well, and the signals will be synchronized for both intersections. So that's the main, I guess objective of this tip project. But again, it's gonna stretch from the Tower Farm Road down to Lock Road. The state is essentially paying for the whole 11.5 million. Our responsibility is to provide some construction oversight from our, we actually had to pay for the design. And then also we're providing construction oversight for consultant that actually did the design and looking at for $150,000 for some construction services during the course of the construction.
That's not a bad return.
Yeah, I would say.
Hello. Next one.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's.
If I recall correctly, a year ago, 2 years ago, we set money aside to redo pipe work in this stretch.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's gonna be done.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, it would actually be done before, Dave, that great memory. So yeah, we I think we had a $1.7 or $1.8 million warrant on it, the replacement water main between Tower Farm Road and the Crowd Hill tank, which was undersized. And we still have that money. We were sort of waiting to essentially do it while there. We actually bid it with the contractor to see if we get better pricing. And we're still waiting for that to see if we can have them do it and get better pricing. If we don't, we can always just have our own contractor do it.
Okay. Questions, Phil?
Oh, okay. Do you know when Glen Valley opened up? Do you happen to know?
When it opened up,
When it opened up, when it was first installed? The reason why I'm asking, Okay, the reason why I'm asking, and I have nothing on this, it's finally being done. When it opened up, everybody knew at the time Glad Valley was a dangerous intersection. Remember the town was talking, the Board of Selectmen, I don't remember, this is 50 years ago, I think, when it opened. They were gonna rectify the situation. They just never gave a timeline. I guess, thank you for finally having a timeline 50 years later, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's all, just a comment on that aspect, whatever, thank you.
For the styles of the houses that were there, especially if you look to find one that probably still looks like the houses that was originally built,
Right.
probably 1970.
Right, so my point being is, you know, we're gonna look into it. How long does it take to look into it? And I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just really 50 years? Why rush?
No questions, but this is a long time coming, as Phil just alluded to. And I think we all look forward to it, to actually enjoying that intersection rather than holding your breath and closing one eye and hitting the gas.
Brian?
I'll echo the other sentiments, very much needed. Just clarification, is this a Mass dot project?
Yes.
Okay, so there's gonna be their workers and
Yeah.
what are just the construction services that we're?
So, like, for instance, like, I'll give we paid for the design, so we have our consultants and us, in both cases, it's Beta, the Beta Group that did the design, so. If there's any, let's say, unforeseen circumstances that pop up during construction, they typically have to have a design engineer figure out a way to basically fix any sort of unforeseen issues. And like, so we had a bunch out here, and it's always like, they do a request for information, they'll submit to Beta. Hey, we ran into this, how do we fix it? What's the best way to fix it? So, there's, Beta Group that did the actual design is still gonna be involved and they have to be involved in the actual oversight and construction of the project.
Okay, gotcha. So that will go to any money needed for Beta.
Right.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Fred. It's so good to see you. sir.
Always place.
Okay, so, yeah, well, you keep saying that, I might believe it eventually. But anyway, this is part of we had already appropriated monies. That was for the design phase, right?
Correct.
About 10 years ago, it seems like. Probably more like about
Yeah,
4 or 5
I
anyway.
call it BF before Fred, so.
Yeah, precisely. I remember that. Shocking for everybody here on the dais and around. I'm actually for this. I know it's a pretty bad intersection. Anything to help with public safety down there would be greatly improved. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Done.
Mr. Chairman, hey Fred,
Hey, Tom.
the 150, is that a padded estimate? In other words, will it go over, do you think it will go,
I don't.
might get under, depends on if there's overruns and.
Right.
Exactly.
Overruns, and if there's exceptional instances where we have obviously circumstances that have to be redesigned or re-engineered. I don't think we should. We didn't have a lot up front here. I thought this was a more difficult project than that, so.
As far as the pipe goes, that we've already paid for 1.8, we don't have any bids out for that. This is 2 years ago?
So we were waiting to see when, like I said, the Mass Dot to bid it, to see if we could piggyback their bid with the contractor they get, because a lot of the cost of mobilization, and if you already have a contractor that's mobilized, they put it as part of this project, we may get more favorable pricing on it.
I'm just thinking about, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I'm a little bit off with this article, but it is kind of combined. Are we gonna see, we're gonna need more money later because of the 1.8 then, now it's different because everything costs more.
The preliminary estimates that we've gotten from Beta indicate that we have enough money.
To do it now,
Yes,
today's money.
today's money, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One quick question. Which source of funding do you anticipate most likely using? Because that's going to impact whether this is going to be a simple majority or 2/3.
Yeah, I suspect it's probably gonna be chapter 90, I suspect.
Okay, so that gives me a simple majority.
I can't say definitively that sort of Clancy's. Paul, so,
We'll know by town meeting.
yeah, you'll know by town meeting, yeah.
Thank you.
By the final warrant, you'll know.
Eric?
favorite experience there is driving south on Boston Road and having your blinker on to go on Lexington Road and people coming out of Glad Valley and think you're turning there. And then the first time it happened to me, I almost got hit. And ever since then, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, so I never go that way. So I'm grateful. This was supposed to be the first time that the money came through. It was supposed to be 2026, so it moved up a year because the engineering people or whomever had it so far ahead of where they needed to be that money came available and Andrew like that.
Yep.
But the new card, so it was off the last time we had a report and I panicked and they said, no, Mary, it's 2025, we're having 2025. That's going to bid this month and phew, I thought we had worked it out again. Good luck. I think it'll be great when it's done.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Larry?
Thank you. The shortcut really, people come down Lexington Road, they take that low road, if they want to go into Glad Valley. It looks like on the map that you're gonna get rid of that.
Yes.
So if they wanted, they come down Lexington and want to go to Glad Valley, they have to go onto Boston Road and then to the next light back.
Bad.
You got through the lake. I was just curious if, you've had any comments, you know, from residents about that. I don't know actually how often people take that shotgun per se, but.
I think that's what adds to the danger of the whole intersection.
Correct.
This is gonna make it too distinct.
Oh, I agree. I like the design. I'm just curious if you've had any, public comment back. No. And this going out for bid in April 2025, have we sent it out yet?
This is a state project, so they're gonna send it out to bid.
They're gonna?
Yeah.
And it happens to be a state project. The timetable for, finishing and actual,
You're looking at similar to what you see out front here, 2.5, 3 years.
Short than the big dig. But only by just.
Doug?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this considered a state intersection or a town?
It's state.
State, okay, so they would control.
Yeah.
Lighting, so if we find out that the lights are mistimed, they're responsible for that.
Absolutely, yeah, we do that all up and down.
Yeah, I'm just, I use that intersection quite a bit and I can foresee things like backups happening on Lexington in the afternoon when people are trying to get northbound on Boston Road, but having the state analyze that, not just set and forget, but analyze it to make sure that everything's timed properly is really good.
Yes.
The second thing is, you're doing sidewalks on both sides, right? And that's all what you're doing already?
Yep.
Granite and concrete.
Concrete, yep.
Got it.
Drainage improvement. Yep.
I see no problems. I mean, I'm looking forward to it in some cases. It'll be a big improvement in what's there. And I don't take a left on Boston Road coming from Glad Valley.
See?
I don't do that.
Nice lit.
Let's say like there, if I'm going to the Rite Aid or even Taco Bell, I'll go the other way, just because take your life in your hands and people are crazy. They're coming through Lexington as a big cut through and they don't care who gets in front of them, so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but as long as we have good management for readjusting lights, if there's a sequence, things like that, it'll be a real important thing. Thank you.
Sure.
I also am looking forward to this being complete. I take the left from going north on Boston Road onto Glad Valley. And I'll be glad to not just close my eyes and put the gas. So, thank you.
Patrick?
Yeah, real quick, I meant to mention, any eminent domain on this at all that we need to be aware of?
I'm sorry, you got it.
Eminent domain, any,
Takings, yeah, I think there is some takings, but I think there may be temporary takings, Pat, I don't think there's permanent takings, like construction, temporary easements, just to do, if they have to do some sloping on the property, but, I don't recall if there are any, there's no permanent, I don't think there's any permanent easements.
okay, yeah, I didn't see anything on them.
Yeah.
Or so I just was curious on that.
Right, yeah, that would have happened, that actually happened,
Reconfiguring the intersection.
that would have happened like last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that was a gift anyway. Part of that was a gift
Oh, maybe.
from a family. part of it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Done?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Fred, is this borrowing?
We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. We'll find out by the final warrant. But, you know, more than likely it's probably gonna be chapter 90. I think it's gonna, we can't pave roads then.
Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move that the Finance Committee recommend Article 29 is written in the preliminary spring town warrant.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Yes.
Next slide, good.
Three.
By the way, Brian's chuckle heads down there. You saw it. You need to tell Josh.
What, would you rather go by your slide? We can jump around. It doesn't really make any difference. Slides.
That's fine. It's just, I think people at home can see this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is to fund, cleaning, lining and.
This is Article 30.
It's actually not fuel tanks, it's actually the diesel fuel tank. The diesel fuel tank is the one to the right, sort of closest to the forefront. We're having some issues with this, specifically like, it's the diesel. It's the rear one is the regular gasoline, the front one's the diesel gasoline. And we've been having a lot of trouble with some of the fire trucks, coming and having to be serviced because the fuel's dirty. So we investigated and sure enough, there's dirt, there's grit, and there's water in this tanks. There's penetrations on the top. And for the life of me, I don't know why they didn't extend the canopy over the entire tank when they did this. These tanks are only, I think they're only 10 years old. So, this started happening about a year and a half ago. I contacted Highland Tank and the consultants that actually did this design for us to see if there's any warranty that we could, and I exhausted every avenue, but there's no warranty on this. So, what I did is I called an independent company, come in and to assess it, they actually drained the tank, they had to empty the tank. And they gave me a bid price, which obviously is gonna have to go up to bid. But they gave me some specifications of what they would recommend be done, which would be to mobilize a portable tank that they could pump the gas into and then essentially empty it out, clean it, and then apply an epoxy coating to it. And then the penetrations on top that were the suspect for leaking and getting into the tank, they would reseal those gaskets and that sort of thing. So essentially after it's done, it'll be a new tank for $80,000 as opposed to almost $300,000 to replace the tank. So, that's what this is for.
So it's not the diesel itself that's the problem, it's the fact that roof doesn't extend far enough forward.
That's the big problem, Dave. And like I said, there's water. You can see some of the penetrations that are outside the limits of it. Something was happening with those. There's actually water in the tank and that leads to corrosion. And
Yeah.
so it's just,
We're gonna be looking at in the future, or not too far in the future for extending that roof.
that's a possibility. Yeah, I could look into that. It's actually a good idea.
Phil?
Couple things. You said it's how old? 10 years?
Like 10 years old, yeah.
And when do they need to be cleaned?
When?
Yeah, do they have like a time frame every 10 years, every 30 years?
We have them checked I think every year we check them. And like I said, the gasoline tank seems to be fine. So there's no issues with gasoline tank. This is just getting worse and worse. And then, like I said, I get calls from the fire chief because fire trucks, their engines are fouling, whatever, something that's affecting their engines more so than, we gas up down there too. We don't have as much trouble with our diesel trucks, but it seems to be the fire trucks that are most susceptible.
That's odd.
It is odd.
Maybe, as Dave said, maybe, Mr. Chairman, extend the roof.
Yeah, yep.
Anyway, the second thing is, the legal state that the terminology in this article, entry and cleaning, should be enhanced.
Okay.
It says here, this article is questioned as to whether entry and cleaning is broad enough to cover use of the cost. It's, I don't know if you have a copy of the label, you'll see what I'm talking about. That's just this information only. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My friend. Yeah, my only questions were about age, the tanks themselves. And also, I mean, we should be, if we're thinking that the problem is a result of not having the roof extended, and we're gonna be fixing this tank, it's still gonna be open to the elements. So I think that's something we really need to, if we're gonna spend the money to get the tanks fixed, you don't wanna do this a few years again. Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Right?
Mr. Chairman, so I'm just looking in one of the words that pops out is assess. Is there a chance that when we start this project and open it up, that there's gonna need to be more money spent to this?
It's a great question, Brian. So what they're going to do when they actually clean the tank out is they're going to be doing a thickness test on the tank. And they did say that we may have some areas that you might have to do some spot welding that might be thin before they put the epoxy on. The company that I talked to said that this probably, they think this would cover that. So this is almost like a worst case that they've told me. Yeah, that may happen. That may happen, that they have this machine that does the actual thickness test, and they'll do it all around the tank to make sure that there's enough thickness there.
So the 80,000 has a contingency in
Yes.
matching to cover additional costs, okay?
Yes. Great question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I understand what you're doing, but I'm kind of curious, is that a double wall tank?
Yes.
Okay, because I was sitting there thinking 10 years, it should have been double wall, so it should have mitigated some of that, but.
Yep.
The other thing I'm kind of curious on is, I'm sure you have inline filters on the pumps too, right?
Mhm.
I know that doesn't mitigate the water, but it will take out the junk that's in the tank, transfer it over, it should have anyway.
Yeah.
Then those are changed out, what, annually?
Yeah, annually. So we're required in DEP to have these tanks tested, checked, and that sort of thing every year. And they have to take they test the paper, everything, and that we have to submit to DEP every year.
And on this site, do you keep the def as well? Okay, so they do, I'm sure there's a puts if they have to put so much in, so that's fine. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I kind of agree. I'm surprised that it's actually leaking on the top.
Well, it's funny because it's actually penetrations on the regular gasoline tank that we don't have any issues with, that are not below the canopy.
Like, because on the
It
double
seems
wall,
like
it
this-
should have, like, if they had infiltration, I would have thought that it would have went to the exterior of the tank and not to the interior.
No, so that's.
I know it's containment system.
Yeah, it's exactly, it's containment, so if the first wall is compromised,
Right.
then you start getting.
And you have,
Yeah.
problems. So. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. Fred, this says tanks.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Scratch the asshole?
Yeah, it's gonna be the diesel tank, yeah, so on the final warrant, you'll see the actual correct description.
Yeah, so.
I can blame him now, because Clancy wrote this one up and I told him,
It was spell checked.
I'm not responsible for what I tell him, not what he hears. So,
Are these pumps? Like some kind of an air thing where it breathes,
Yeah, yes, we just replaced all the nozzles.
so you really can't cover it with a tuft
No. Oh,
temporarily.
you mean you're talking about these.
Especially if it's raining, the
Yeah.
ones that are exposed.
Yeah,
I'm talking about just a quick thing after we clean this. Cause I expect, and I hope you come back here looking for money to
yeah.
extend that.
Yeah, I may ask the company that, like I said, that's been doing that did the actual inspection for us to make a recommendation on that.
Yeah, so it can't cover the top.
No, there's actually vents, yeah, that it needs air.
Thank you.
No questions, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
I'm all set, thank you.
Larry?
Yeah,
thanks.
Where are the tanks located?
Now, you know where the water treatment plant is? Right across from the House of Correction.
Okay,
That driveway that goes down, and it's the underpass that goes over. And if you take a right to where the treatment plant, it's right before you get the treatment plant, right behind the treatment plant.
okay. Yeah.
You can see them from Route 3.
Yeah, you know, one of the first things when I saw the article, it was the canopy. Yeah, definitely need to do something about covering it after all this.
Yeah,
You said you have to have the tanks checked each year.
yes.
When they're doing the checking, would they have noticed if the thickness was starting to be compromised?
Yes and no. So they do an exterior check. They check baffles. They check and make sure that, those penetrations on the top are there for a reason. They'll check, there's a manway there, which allows for actual entry to the tank. And then they check they do a vapor test on the actual nozzles. And then we have a keypad there in order so that nobody can go up there and actually get gasoline. So they check all the components of it. DEP has like a checklist. So it wasn't until I was getting, complaints from the fire department that I actually had someone do an interior check of it to see what the gasoline quality of the gas was, and that's when this came up.
So routine inspection would not.
No, it's not something that they would go into the tank, which would have been required.
Okay, so then still possible that there's been a compromise on the thickness.
Something like, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So you said that they tested the fuel and there's water in it.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have been through, like, when the fuel company comes up to fill it or something. You know, I find well, when Larry mentioned it's a double tank, you know, you would figure if it was leaching from the outside, it would hit the interior tank or the double tank, and it wouldn't make it into the interior tank. The interior tank should be sealed, I suspect.
Right, but those penetrations on the roof.
Yep.
Go through to that interior tank.
Okay, I just, you know, I'm not gonna second guess. I just want to make sure that, you know, they come in, they seal the whole thing up, everything looks good, and then all of a sudden we're having problems again. Cause it was like a filled spout that was leaking or some crazy thing. You know, I think putting a roof on it long-term would probably be the best bet to just keep the elements off the top. And I'm surprised it's only happening with fire trucks, not the.
I am too. I am too.
You know, that's the other question is, you know, is it happening to all the trucks and just a couple of them are happening?
Yeah, I usually get an email from the chief
Yeah.
when there's an issue. I haven't, in the 3 years I've been here, we haven't had any issues with our diesel trucks, so.
Yeah, and usually engines are engines, so it's not
Yeah.
like you're, well, they're running a special engine that's gonna be affected by that. And diesels run pretty much anything, so I'm surprised that.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure that when the job is done, you found the smoking gun, it, you know, there's no
Yes.
mold in the system.
Absolutely.
It wasn't some other underlying issue that comes up, but other than that, I think it needs to be done for 80,000 and contingency for, you know, fixing any holes that might be found is a good thing, so, thank you.
Sharon?
The roof definitely, that's the first thing I thought of is that needed to be looked at, but also, how quickly can they do this? Because am I right in suspecting that the fire trucks engines are being adversely affected by this?
Mhm.
And so we
Yeah.
want to minimize the time that this is
Yes.
happening. So I'd love to see this, like, the work done the day after town meeting, which I know that's not possible, but.
Well, so so I actually spoke with the company that did this investigation for us and asked them if they could assist in putting a bid specification out for us. And I actually said, I want to bid it. We get the money July 1st. I want to bid it July 2nd.
Right.
So they're actually preparing that for us. You know, they're gonna charge us for it, which, you know, whatever, not much, but basically, because again, it's not my expertise, gasoline or fuel tanks, and it's theirs. So they're actually doing that as they're working on it now, so.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chairman? Yes.
So, hey, Fred, real fast. So which one of those tanks is the diesel? Is it the one on the far left-hand side?
Right there.
Closest to us?
Closest to us, yes. Yeah, right next to that little shed.
Thanks. When everyone's talking about covering it and stuff, that roof is actually part of your fire suppression system.
Right.
Isn't it? So if we extend it, we have to actually make sure that it's up to code and that
Yeah.
fire extinguisher. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
You're right.
All right. Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up. On fire trucks, the big engines and a diesel truck. Do they use the same type of diesel?
Yes, we all fill up down there.
No, that's what I figured, but I mean, I wasn't sure if it was two different things and is it the same company?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And is this, so it's the same company you've been dealing with for the last 3 years?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move the Finance Committee recommend Article 30 as printed in the temporary, preliminary warrant.
Second. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Was that a spasm, Kevin?
31.
Well, it wasn't a town.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt you. Excuse me. Article 31 is the $75,000, which we know will come out of retained earnings for the update, the sort of recalibration of our sanitary sewer model. So we have a sanitary sewer model that consultants use as really it's when some developments come in and determine if they're gonna have an impact or any sort of adverse impact on our sewer infrastructure. And that way, if we have, usually it's what we currently analyze what their contribution is to the system, if it's gonna have any impact, and then what it does, in some cases we've actually looked to them to do the improvements on the infrastructure in order to offset what impact they have. Well, the model we have now is old. I think it's 12 years old. I think it's 2013 or 14. The last time it was updated. So I know we've had at least one, maybe even two sewer expansions since then. So it isn't a good idea to recalibrate and update with all the improvements we had and add some of the development we've had over the last 10 years to it so that they can get a better assessment for future projects moving forward. So.
Bill.
No real questions, just I'm trying to get me around what I am on. You know, I'm thinking a little too long, but it's a plan.
It's a computer program. Okay, so the picture of a computer program, and in it, every street has the slope and the size of the pipe.
Okay.
And then we have all everything, residential and commercial, we have the flow rates of all of the parcels in the town, what they're contributing to those pipes. And those pipes have different capacities, as well as pump stations. We have 23 pump stations that we have to model, if you will, on the computer to see what, if you have a large scale development, what the impact is on that pump station. And this is what this does. It's basically the brains behind the infrastructure, the sanitary sewer infrastructure. We have the same thing for the water distribution. Well,
Okay.
yeah.
So, and this should be done what, every 10 years, every?
I think it should be every 5 years myself, but especially with where we're actually doing the expansion here, which not a lot of towns do that, so we should probably do it a little more frequently than, say, a town that's totally built up in 100% sewer.
Thank you. I know what you're talking about. Thank you very much.
Jim?
Right, what percentage are we at now?
We are at, I think it's 83 or 84%.
And what do we see as full sewage in town?
83 or 84%. My choice.
No, but
Down the road.
but I mean, it's never gonna be 100. Not everybody's gonna be getting.
Right.
So what is it really around that, or is it like closer to 90?
No, well, again, you'll have to be 100.
Right.
Right, so, yeah, so I don't know if anybody on the board, actually watched, we kind of did, like a presentation for the Board of Select Board on capital improvement projects for water, sewer, stormwater, roads. We did the full thing, and then we had essentially our mantra was that, it's great to expand the sewer, but you still have to go back and address your existing infrastructure, which has not been done in a lot of years.
Mhm.
So I personally, as the director, would like to take a step back from the expansion and look into the actual existing infrastructure that needs to be fixed and updated and addressed.
And that's what this model will help you,
Yes.
help you decide where you need
Yes.
to improve and upgrade.
Right.
That's all. Thank you.
Right?
Just one thing, reading the town council legal opinion, it seems like he's questioning whether the wording was broad enough to cover all the expenses. That's just what he wrote there, such as professional services and outside vendors. There's no recommendation on how to improve the writing on it. That's kind of confusing,
Yeah, I can talk
the
to,
wording, yeah.
to town council as that as well as the previous article as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it right for the final warrant.
Okay, perfect. And then just, do you know, how much is in the wastewater retained earnings?
I don't off the top of my head. No.
I do.
Oh.
Yep.
Is that a me?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Thanks a bit.
So prior to this, the balance right now is $269,000. And if this gets approved, we'll have 194, $194,528 remaining in the retained earnings.
Thank you, Amit.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So we're taking this out of wastewater retained earnings. Why didn't we look at taking it out of the enterprise fund?
That is the enterprise one.
We only have 200 and something thousand in it. I need to look at my sewer bill again, because I know I got charged quite a bit, but not quite that much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Done?
Yeah, Fred, I'm with you on, let's stop the expansion. Let's fix what we have. That's all I have.
No.
Just to clarify my own mind, looking at this model, does this take into account potential new users or just expansion of the the actual hardware of the system?
So what it needs to do, John, is take it, add in all the development that's been done since the last update. So get it to what it looks like today. And then what it allows us to do is if we have a proposal for a large development, we can then plug it in and see what the impact will be. Systems. The update's gonna bring it up to today, what's actually going into the system today.
Will this review cover the things that are in the pipeline currently, like, for example, the Billerica Mall apartments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gary?
Fred, I know the people that work there are very clever and they do a lot of things. They won't be able to do this themselves, will they?
No.
It's too big a job.
Yeah, this is a specialized.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Larry?
Thank you. I did watch your presentation to the board.
Okay, thank you.
So the model, if I follow what you're saying, will tell you what the capacity is right now, the system. And then we'll update if you have it put in, say, you're doing, we'll say sponsored metals, if that ever came about. It would then tell you what the capacity would be, correct?
It would allow us to assess what the impact would be if Swanson Meadows comes through as a large scale development to see if there's any adverse impact.
And I think there was like 150 parcels that in the town that haven't been sorted and probably aren't on the right path. Can you plug into that and say, okay, we can do like half of these and this would give us this capacity or?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Doug? No, I fully support this. I think understanding your current and future capacity is really important, because then we can figure out whether we have to put a freeze on new building or we have to expand the pipes or the plant. So I think it's really important to know that. Yeah, I think we should do this more often if we're seeing growth. But yeah, I see no problem there.
Sharon?
No questions. I agree. Knowledge is power.
Mr. Chairman, I move Article 31. I move the Finance Committee recommend Article 31 in the preliminary one.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Oh boy.
10-1.
One, two. Oh, Don, who's the second?
Patrick and Dawn.
Patrick.
Mary seconded.
That just one.
Seconded.
He wasn't the second.
Article 32.
32 in purchase of an ambulance.
Oh, that's.
Oh, that's 32, we're on 33.
Sorry, 33. I didn't think we would go through.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at the warrant book and put that clause, that flip in,
For you to take a breath.
yeah. Article 33 is, this is in the spring, we typically accept public roadways. And these are the 6 that we're proposing to, accept this year. Joyce, if you want to just scroll through, I don't know if you want to just ask questions at each one, if you have any. This is Apollo Avenue.
We're accepting someone's driveway.
That?
We're accepting someone's driveway.
But it's
Switch.
I think, Goldberg's Larry.
240 feet. Mine's 250 feet. Just let I get that covered.
Say it again?
I says that's 240 feet on, Ipswich. I said mine's 150. Can I change, get mine on there?
Any questions on Apollo? Ipswich?
That was what I was talking about.
And I know there was questions last year about where wetlands were, so I add those to the plan, because we actually were asked.
Well, my big question is, how many houses are on Ipswich?
We're in,
I'll do a tour before town meeting. No, trust me.
that was doable.
I mean,
Next, please.
Yeah, that's.
In his way?
In Irish streets. Was that after they came from the pub or something? That, no.
That's a new subdivision, that's pretty.
Yeah, I was just looking at that lake, was that, for the pub or what?
One dead end.
Next one.
I do got a question on this. You were saying that the green is what?
It's green floodplain and EEP wetlands. So the green floodplain is the light green
Uh-huh.
and wetlands are the sort of the blue, green with the dark blue, the blue lines.
Why are we paving a wet?
So we're not paving it, we're accepting.
We're gonna accept it and then it's a wet. So when it washes out, we get to repave it.
I'm just here to accept the road set.
I'm just saying, I'm looking at that and it's like, I'm a hard no on that one. It's like, no. If that's supposed to.
This isn't part of the
We're
enterprise.
to go in and accept a floodplain. Really? I said, let's get a boat ramp. We can go ahead and pave that out to the lake and then when it comes in, we'll be fine.
Fred, do you know how long that road has been paved?
How long it's been paved? I don't, I'm sorry.
If you recall ever having to.
Yeah. A
You
lot.
paved it, or, maybe a floodplain, but it may not be like an active floodplain.
There's two bodies, it looks like two bodies of water on either side, right? No, the wet. Yes.
There are houses on that.
But there, yes. Well, there's a house underneath down here at the bottom of the.
That's the
thing.
green
You can't
flood.
get to it half the. There's nothing.
I want to say, and it's probably around the late 1970s.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we were first looking at houses, we went to look at one down in that area. They were cinder block houses.
I'm just curious if we've had issues with that road. Right.
Yeah.
Did I agree?
That's what.
Yeah, no, I mean, it could say floodplain on the map, but whether it's actively floods, we don't know.
We'll get the one at the bottom of here by the high school. That one road gets flooded out, seems like every other year it's underwater and they can't get to it until it dries up. Elsie, yeah.
Really.
So it's like,
Right here.
really?
We don't know it's.
Don, you just.
I did.
We see it on the news.
As far as that being in the, what kind of floodplain is it? Is it a 5-year, 1 year,
100 years.
100-year flood? That means very rarely does it get flushed.
Yep.
except for 3 times in the last 5 years.
There's been a landmark in 100 years.
Rewrite this. Yeah, that's all I have.
Shelburne?
I'm hungry.
Shelburne.
Where is this?
We can-
Town boundary.
Shelburne is bounded by Burlington, Wilmington.
Yep.
Basically Burlington.
Yeah.
Snows. And the last one is.
That's it. We actually took Wild Crest off because we didn't have enough documentation. Yeah.
You took Wild Crest off.
Yes,
Oh, sorry. Anthony.
Fred, there's something from legal here that I've never seen before, maybe I just overlooked it. That was both legal and viable. So we require a simple majority vote passed if the road layouts are shown on the subdivision plan approved by the planning board. If not, that it required 2/3.
So I know we have the record plans for all of them.
Okay, so they already have some.
Kelly's very good at stickler at it. We don't have the record plans. That's why we pulled Wild Crest off.
Oh, I
She
see.
wouldn't put them forward if we didn't have the record plans.
So hopefully it'll be a simple. Thank you.
Yes.
Fred, did these come through the street acceptance committee?
Yes.
Let me rephrase that. There was a zoning bylaw or some change way back when the board of selectmen within the signatures for the street kind of get at the list versus the Mike Rosa street acceptance committee, which made them no one Reno was on.
You still,
Yeah, same one, still on.
So this all passed there?
Yes.
Okay, because I know like some of the streets, like, you know, residents had to get them pristine before they were accepted.
Yeah, so we had to have the meeting. It was funny because we had to rush to get the meeting before we could put the warrant article. It was down to the water.
Okay, so that's the reason I'm asking that question is, was kind of like 2 different views on street acceptance. One was get 10 signatures, board of selectmen approve it, and it kind of comes here. And then-
Yeah, so this is still a citizen's petition. All of these were.
Yep.
Citizens to come before us.
Okay, so all the streets that are part of the projects have been approved by the residents. They've all agreed they're in a betterment requirements to get them approved.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
And so, Kelly's okay with this? Street acceptance is okay with this?
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I move the finance committee recommend Article 33 is printed in the preliminary.
second,
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed? 10-1.
What do you think?
I thought it was Donald because you didn't, well, because you didn't say second.
I don't want to pay though.
No, no.
Favorite foods. Save the water.
Actually, you can go two, save everything. Actually, go one more, probably. Better. Yeah, there we go. Well, this next article, Article 34, is to accept a gift of an easement for, there were 2 projects. One was at Drumful Research Park, which is the red, and one was Lantheus, which is the blue, where they had projects from the planning board, part of it was to upgrade the sidewalk. They saw a sidewalk in front, along their frontage, tying to existing sidewalks. Unfortunately, the right of way isn't wide enough with the width of the pavement to actually put, you know, the sidewalk with some sort of a grass strip. So, we'd have to go onto private property. So they're willing to give us that easement to put the sidewalk in both companies. So that's what this is all about. It's just to accept the gift of that expansion of the right of way to install. And they're installing, they're paying to install the sidewalks as well. So there's no money it's not any cost, sidewalks for.
Questions, Bill?
Nothing, I read the articles, not the articles, the proposals from the committee. So, thank you for the update.
All set, thank you. Brian?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Yeah.
Just real quick, you said this is for putting in what sidewalks?
Sidewalk, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So the easement is for just for the sun.
What's that? Space of painting.
Just one quick thing, the very last line, the explanation of silent construction is a requirement of the site plan, so if a permit issued by the planning board, is this part of a construction thing, or
Sorry, John?
is this part of like some construction or?
Yeah, I don't know the particulars about why they were from the planning board for the site plan review special permit, but I'm sure it's for some sort of either expansion or something.
Okay, is that a business there or houses, or do you know? It's.
No, it's in front of the big warehouse.
Oh, it's where, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank
In
you.
front of their business.
Oh, okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Here,
I'm good. I think this is good to do.
Larry? I'm good at just looking at how far back 315, 319 is from the
Yeah.
roadway.
Yeah.
Hidden in the trees.
Yeah.
Doug?
No questions, thank you.
Sharon?
No question.
Good.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Finance Committee recommend Article 34 as printed in the preliminary town warrant.
Second.
Move the second, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous.
That's Donald's tell. If he says second, he's in the vote yes.
I'm gonna trick you on this. Surprise me once or twice.
Okay.
So,
Article 35.
Right. This happens, this article pertains to, comply with Article 97, requirements to do with the Yankee Doodle bike path. And what that is if you go to the next slide, Joyce. So there are two parcels that are in the green here that are owned by the Berwick Conservation Committee. And the Yankee Doodle bike path is gonna follow the old rail, which you can see it. Going to cut through this parcel here. This is gonna be the Yankee Doodle bike path. So these are the two parcels. This is actually a property line here. This is one parcel owned by the Conservation Commission. This is a second one. So we have to transfer ownership from the Conservation Commission to the Select Board for this bike path through these. So that's what you have to go to Article 97. State. So that's what the gist of this article is.
Questions, Phil?
No questions, but there's just one thing I'd like to most of these bike paths, in fact, I think all of them have a codicil that says at some time in the future, state determines. I'm not sure about this, but the state determines that they need that land for transportation again, have the right to come back. and take it. They assume it. I know Bedford had it, I know Burlington had it, so I'm not Burlington, Chelmsford, so I'm not sure if this had it, but I remember reading it years ago and I've seen it since then, just as information. Okay. For what it's worth.
Yeah, no questions, thank you. Brian?
It doesn't look like it, but is this gonna impact any residents at all during during the construction period?
This portion or the whole Yankee Doodle bike path?
Just this portion.
This portion, no, this is all gonna be on conservation land, and again, it's the old railroad bit down.
Oh, okay.
It's actually an old narrow gauge.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's it. Thanks.
Yeah, actually, just to answer your question, Brian, I've been along that area to see most of those parcels are like way up high.
Oh,
This is way down here. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
Patrick?
yeah, Mr. Chairman, Fred, kind of oriented me on this. I see Route 3 right there. Is that where Route 3 is? That's coming from over in the industrial area, right?
So, yeah, so on the other side of Route 3 is the Bedford side.
Okay.
Technology department.
Yeah, that's what
Technology park.
Yeah, it's right here.
So it's on the other side, and next to Middlesex Turnpike, just down by the intersection, where you cut across the road to no place, basically.
No, it's further up then. You know, if you go up Middlesex Turnpike, there's like a power substation on your left-hand side.
Yeah.
It's right across the street from that.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So we're not gonna actually go all the way down to the light and down by where, what was it? Where the,
Middlesex.
house right there. We're gonna go around behind. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think there's a You see the white line right away, I think, is that where they're going?
Yeah.
Yeah, so from Concord
Road to Middlesex, they're cutting the corner, going right down the power line right away.
Okay.
And then where that substation is where they cross Middlesex. And this sort of follows the right, actually, it veers off the right of way. It follows the back of the properties,
Okay,
but it's conservation land. And
yeah, I get an idea where it is. Thank you.
Done?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so where this goes to Route 3? Does that go on, I mean, how does that?
It's gonna run, it's gonna actually turn there and run parallel to Route 3.
Okay, it must have to cross over some point, because it's going to Bedford.
Yeah, it's gonna run parallel to Route 3 up to Orchard Street, you know, the Orchard Street's bridge.
Yeah.
And they're gonna kind of wend their way up to the Orchard Street Bridge and cross the bridge there into Bedford. Okay.
I have no questions on this.
Sure.
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Mary?
I'm happy to see this is moving along. I won't believe it till it's done.
Larry?
That's good, thank you.
I have no problem with it. I just amazed that, you know, you got two boards of the town that they have to go through all this, the conservation can't just, yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
makes no sense.
Nope.
Thank you. This is not the beginning of the phase of the bike path that we're doing. We're starting at Concord Road. I think that's where it's gonna start because of, they can't go north. Kind of.
Yeah, because of the archaeological
Yeah,
study.
so this is gonna allow from the Concord Road all the way over to the Bedford line.
Yeah.
With the rail trails over there, so. Okay, yeah, I have no problem. I'm with Mary. I'd love to see this weekend. As a student in this thing, so.
Darren?
No questions, thanks.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that the finance committee, I move that the finance committee recommend Article 35 is printed in the preliminary warrant.
Second.
Sorry, that was Patrick.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed? Yeah.
Oh, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Fred. Hey, Fred. Come play tomorrow. Talk to you soon, Fred.
It was great seeing all of you. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Nothing but love. Have a good night.
Yeah. So, Article 1. The compensation for the town clerk. No questions on this? Take a motion.
Chairman, I move, the finance committee recommends Article 1 as printed in the preliminary town.
Second. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. 2. Questions? Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the finance committee recommend Article 2 as printed in the preliminary town.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, we have an. Two.
Make sure you write their names down, just.
You don't want to get blamed.
What's the? No. I don't want to be questioned. Who's the most? Okay, you know, accounts.
What's that?
We always live against it. Don't call me.
It's just that I don't,
If you should be a volunteer, what's the?
well, it's every other elected official in.
Yes.
This is about other than the town clerk. But that's it.
It's a good idea. Nice.
Okay, Article 3. If there are no questions on Article 3, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move the finance committee recommend Article 3 as printed in the spring town warrant.
Second, it didn't cost me anyone.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed?
Oh, no.
John?
Sherry, I want to
Oh,
thank-
we got one. There's always one.
Oh, I'm sorry, who was it?
Don hasn't had a chance to say no yet.
No, I
Well
actually
done.
have.
By yourself.
I'm sorry. One.
Dawn.
Number three, why?
We get my,
Why?
we get my.
I was gonna second it, but you jumped ahead.
That's fair. You know, that is fair.
Patrick second, yes.
No, it's Doc, no.
I did second.
You
He
second.
did.
It didn't cost me any money.
I'm serious, I'm curious, why?
Minority report.
I wanna hear everything. I want town meeting to last 8 hours.
Yeah, no need blowing through all this. That's true. I should have voted no. Why didn't you slap? We reconsider the check.
So 10 to 1.
Okay, we're gonna hold off on this one
Thank you.
until. Have you had, I hope you all had a chance to look through here. The budget, through the wisdom of the select board, has been broken up into several pieces. So it's gonna make this all very complicated. We run the risk of even double voting, same amount of money, to give them twice as much.
Yeah.
If we do it all the way it's all set up here. It's still being talked about. I don't know what's gonna happen with it. We've already voted. This public education budget, we've already done it. We've already voted. So I mean, we don't really have to even hear them because we already have. We've already voted. If these stay in here,
You mean
should-
Article 20?
all up to say 17, 18, 19.
They broke out certain
Town and school budgets, we've already voted these. We usually have one warrant article. As a matter of fact, 20, and if you look at the wording of 20 and
20 to 23.
16. The wording is the same. That's our standard wording for the budget.
Yeah.
So we actually have two budget items. So I don't know what's gonna happen with all of this. This one here, 20 is ours, it's the one we put in every year. I don't know what the reasoning is behind breaking it up. You can ask any question you want, when the budget is on the floor, any budget. Doesn't have, you're not restricted to just the town budget or just the school, you can ask anybody. When Tony's up there from Shawshene Tech, you can ask him questions. There's no need to have additional warrant articles to do that. We already do it. No, I don't understand the rationale behind it, but until that gets ironed out, I think we'll just leave that one.
Mr. Chairman, just one thing. So the town council says it should specify each budget line item to be appropriate.
Now, that's another conversation we have to
So
have.
you want to go like line item by line item?
That's another question this has been a standard language for, at least as long as I've been doing this.
I'd rather
It's
see
coming up on 30 years now.
Really? Yeah. Actually would.
So,
Be a lot.
yeah. But like I said, once the budget is open,
Signed up.
any line item can be discussed. So, I don't understand.
Just, I did inquire on this. From a couple of the, select board members, and the explanation given is they're tired of getting calls about the technical budget and the, school budget, so they wanted them broken up separately.
Yeah, but they went and spoke up.
Why would they even take calls on the school budget? Call the school, call it either.
I think that's the answer to the school committee. I think that's the answer they're given. For some reason, they believe this is gonna cut down on their calls. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me when they explained it to me, but
School budget. Set the articles for town meeting.
It is, but I mean, history being what it is, we're the finance committee, this is our budget. It's town meeting, when we present the town meeting budget, that's the FinCom's recommended budget. And that's why we always put the warrant on it.
Mr. Chairman, remind me, Article 20 is all of the other, like Article 16
Right,
and what else?
16 and 20 are the same. If you look at the wording, they're the same.
They're the same, but they apply to
But the
different.
money is. The
They're not the same departments, though.
The wording is the same, but separate departments.
Yeah.
town,
So.
But Nancy said it was in the very beginning of the budget work. The grid that's this way and has blue lines on it, so I figured it out that it's not, the numbers are separated in this the way they are separated in that, plus extras, so. And it makes no
so-
sense to me.
Yeah, it's just making absolutely no sense.
Well, one of the select board members was boasting about it and being very happy with doing it.
Sure. Somebody was having a finance team, I'm sure, I'm assuming,
No, it is exactly something.
that they didn't learn very much while they were here.
No, they weren't.
So it's not unprecedented.
Libby can add.
And I prefer doing it this way. And
Some of
I
it.
don't like having their
Some.
all in one thing. Okay, yeah, ask for all the questions, all get something, this question.
So what happened gets.
Not with 20 until I find out more from.
We're gonna table this stuff?
Yeah, we just that at the table, we'll just bring it up another time, we just won't discuss it today. Okay, so 23, we'll do the next one.
No, question.
Yes, Phil.
Just a question, on Article 20 and 16 or whatever. Has anybody heard anything came to the answers to our inquiries? Both the school department and the Shawshing Pet.
We're talking about.
No, this came up the other night and I
asked-
just forgot to follow up. Right.
No,
Yep. No, it is. I'll call her tomorrow.
and no, the reason why I'm asking is that I'm the reason why I'm asking is that I know the Berwick School Department offered it. And they said, no problem, obviously things have been going on the past few weeks or so maybe that could be an excuse. The Shawshing Tech, we asked them. And at the time, I didn't see a soul write down anything. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but if someone asked me to do something for them, I write it down as a reminder. So obviously, the thought went out the door, in my humble opinion, from all of the representatives from Shawshing.
So did you submit questions
Yes,
to
we submitted.
Shawshing Text? Because I will tell you that, Carrie Cleary got a lot of Shawshing Tech questions because it was all on the same form. And it was
Right, well, I had-
electronic and everything else, and I don't think any of us knew that that would be what happened, so.
Well, I put it on the same form because obviously, but I didn't send it to her.
It's her form, so somehow it goes to her, whether it wants to be.
And I understand the situation,
Talk to her tomorrow if you don't mind.
and this is not,
I'll
call
call.
for anybody here. But when you ask an entity that is quick to take, and I could be wrong, and I'll be first to apologize to them, I'm quick to grab the 10.6 million and run. At least respond. It's only been almost 30 minutes.
Okay.
I wasn't even aware of it, that I asked all my questions, so I didn't
Well, I
fill out anything.
still haven't seen the Excel that I asked for the budget of the school.
She died,
Don't even have the form, so not knowing what I was talking about, I said, just use the same form for Shawshing Tech.
Yes.
And it all went to Carrie.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a proprietary.
What I did, I used her form, but I saved it as a individual, and then I sent it out. So it wouldn't go to Carrie herself. That's all.
And
I appreciate it.
Pat, what was it that you will?
I asked when they were here, I said, I withheld my vote, I said, I want to be able to have the data available in Excel so I can do an analysis.
So they get it, is this the, or is this
That's the bill, right?
the Ricker School of Art?
Okay, I'll call.
Would you,
tomorrow.
do you take care of that?
Yep.
All right,
I just said I would and I would.
Thank you.
Even wrote it
Thank you.
down.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
23. The transfer of funds, for anything over that $5,000 that the manager has to come to us for. I did ask, when I met with, Clancy and I met, if that, it's been $5,000 for a very long time. And, would it make it easier on them if we could raise it to like 10,000 so they can, because $10,000 is not a lot of money. And, and having them actually come to us for a transfer. For, $6,000. It seems kind of silly. But he said, wait on it for right now. He says, didn't want to do anything about it right now. He said,
At the time, he already knew he was leaving, says, wait till the next town manager comes and see what he wants to do. So we'll leave it at the $5,000, but I just want to let you guys know that.
Just real quick, as an.
We're not changing the amount.
No, we're looking for an amount.
That's fine.
Does that fall near them as well? Because all we have is the town manager.
Can't really hear you.
Yes, when an interim takes over, anything that says town manager, he's.
Right, right. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that that's what we're moving. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just one thing on what you said, I think that that makes sense. But if we do it, I would like it to see, the chair, the vice chair and the secretary just be notified.
It actually says it in the wording, yeah.
Oh, it does. It's in the wording there. Okay, then yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, so if anybody has no more questions on that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move the Finance Committee recommend Article 23 as printed in the preliminary warrant.
Second. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. Minutes, still being worked on?
Well, you should have the eighth, right? The eighth. You were all sent out.
With the.
Or we don't have
We
13.
didn't change it. 'Cause
Well,
it's in the 13th.
so.
So yes, the minutes are out and people have had it long enough to read, even though they are.
Good job.
Thank you, Joyce.
For my 2.5 hour flight from Nashville.
There you go. Thank you, Joyce, for
Crazy.
doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Talk about
Wow.
8 or 13.
Hold on a second.
Bill's waiting.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I
before you.
know. 13 is.
No, just before you go.
The subject one is like those read always.
Right.
On the
Got
coffee,
too much stuff on it.
on the copies that you guys got, it said Thursday.
Yeah.
I did change that on our end, so that's all set. It was actually,
But the date was right.
yeah, the date's correct, but it's just.
We were drinking heavily that day, I think.
Orange juice, yeah. I slipped a little champagne in there.
So you didn't change anything about
And
that wording on the town system wide?
no,
Did you strike the last line?
No,
I did not.
do any of that.
But you want me to,
I still want the last line stricken.
But that was an action of the planning committee. We voted to.
No, not that. Okay, so that's why I gotta look at it. I'll tell you exactly what's on it. Find it.
Thought we have this resolved.
So
Yes, we did, but
I have another thought.
system, the last line, Mr. Malloy and a couple of committee members stated that they would vote no on this due to the select board's bad choice of legal counsel.
That might be a good.
Should be saying that.
Yeah. And I have to say, I apologize. I didn't even notice that because I was.
page is that on, I can't.
On page 6.
Yeah.
But exactly right.
Yeah.
I should have changed that when I.
That's John's words.
Thank you for sparing me a line suit is Lander.
So how would you like to say it, Dave?
Oh, just strike that. It's good to leave it.
Okay.
All right. All right, so,
I think it was more than a couple of us.
yeah.
There were,
Yeah.
there were like
It was 6 of us.
Majority.
But that, in the following days, following meetings, minutes, we'll see that whole discussion there. Because that's where,
Yeah.
yeah,
We took them up.
because that's where we actually did the voting and decided what we were gonna do. So, I'll entertain a motion on, the minutes for, March 8th.
Bill is
As
waiting
amended.
at-
I'm sorry, Phil.
I don't know what page it is, so, because I change it when I do read these. under accounting, which is accountant, Mick Chayani, town accountant. The last line, or next to the last line, it says the committee. Then there's a space, it says John Malloy. Is there something missing? It could be a scrivener's error. I don't know. That's why I'm.
Like Mary said, I was drinking.
No. By the way, the choice, they were fine. It was just, I didn't know. I said, oh, there could be something listening.
You don't know what page it's on?
I
It's
don't.
on page 8, accounting is on page 8, but.
It's public library, then underneath that. is
Committee, okay, I see, yeah. That right on.
There's something missing?
No, I don't think so, but.
Okay, no, that's all. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, we approve minutes of March 8th as amended. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Opposed, recused, thank you. One abstention, so none.
There are one.
Yep. 10.
And
The amendment was just.
What's that one address? Yeah.
There are one.
And
Correct.
she did change the day to Saturday.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good work.
On my copy, I changed the date to Saturday.
And I changed it on this. map.
So I had against the wall.
You'll get clean copy sent to you.
Abstain?
That would be me.
Yeah.
I should have been excused on the board, but we were reading it.
I think you told Dave that. and
Yes.
It was changed.
Okay, next meeting will be April 15th. Warrant articles and the advertised public hearing.
It starts with recodification. I'll try to put that agenda out.
Take your notes.
Won't be here, right? It's that.
What's that?
They work.
Anything else on the agenda? So we'll get it. So moved. We have a motion to adjourn here. Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you all very much.
Turn the lights on when you leave.
Oh.
And.
Does anybody need a preliminary warrant, legal? No?
No, I got a copy right here.
Patrick still needs a budget. I think we're still.